Welcome back to the Frith Podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
And I'm co-host Scott.
And today we're going over chapters 6 through 10 of Mimic Arcanist, the second book in the Academy Arcanist series. And before we get into today's episode, we just want to ask everybody to like, share, subscribe, all that fun, good stuff. And if you could, we are slowly progressing in the subscribers section of YouTube. We're at 41 now, the last I saw. So we're getting there, making progress. And just wanted to mention that the Frith Chronicles Wiki link is going to be in the description down below, along with the Capital Station Discord server. So that way, if you guys want to go over and join in on conversations over there, there's always some interesting things going on. Some kind of, a lot of what ifs, but how would things change if this happened or that happened, or how would this creature kind of be. So there's definitely a lot of fun over there. And with that, we'll get into today's sections. Chapter 6, Shadows Under the Waves. They have reached the tiny island in which they are going to assist in building up. They have to take dinghies in order to get to the shore, and they count a total of 8 buildings in which they are looking at as far as the entirety of the village. They determine, or guessing, that at least 2 of them are some kind of storage or like a meat cooler kind of building. So we have 6 homes. And it definitely feels like it's a remote island that people have just very recently discovered. As we're getting these dinghies getting to shore, Brack and Nazbit are in their own dinghy as how heavy they are. Then we have Soren, Gray, and Ninny in one dinghy, since they're all comfortable, and everybody else is essentially piled up into the last dinghy for some reason. As they're getting to shore, Soren is rowing. Gray sees something under the water, and he's not confident that it's something that should be there. And he kind of talks through about how he thinks it's a Kraken or some kind of sea creature, but he's like, I don't think this is a sea creature. It is a sea creature, but I don't think this sea creature should be here. Also, Gray learns about his limitations of transforming plane, about how the further away he is, that kind of thing, or that basically if there is not a similar creature anywhere near him, that he can't transform into it, because they're asking him to turn into a Rizzle to magic them to where they're supposed to be staying at. But unfortunately, not a possibility since there are no Rizzles around. In Chapter 8, Fire and Brimstone, Gray and Twain they're out and adventuring, trying to find their own occult ore, along with Ashlynn and Akrib. Gray has this idea that instead of having Akrib try to tear up the ground, he's gonna just burn everything, essentially, because the ore kind of sifts to the top of the soil, so he's just gonna burn it all. I mean, he casts Fireball.
Super effective.
However, since Gray does not know how to manipulate magic very well, he kind of loses control of the fire, and it starts to kind of get into the trees, and he's sort of kind of making it work with his control of the fire, but Ashlynn and Akrib come to the rescue with a giant orbs of water they've obtained and ended up throwing it onto the fire to help kill it or smother it out. But in all fairness, Gray was successful in finding 3 pieces of occult core in the process of burning down and just setting shit on fire. I mean, it's effective.
If it's stupid, it's stupid.
Exactly.
To be creature coming. Ashlynn tries to kill it with lightning. It's not super effective. Eventually, Twain is transformed into. He's able to crush its skull, which only does kill it. The herb says that there is the water is actually saltwater, which doesn't make sense because there shouldn't be salt water there. He says that it likely came from the midnight depths of the ocean, and they do end up with that finding a fragment from the gate crossing, which also should not be there. And kind of with his magical sensing powers, Twain is able to tell that like the magic in the air is off in some sort.
I just want to say that it's really cool that Eckert could tell what kind of water and where it came from. It's one of those weird superpowers that you don't think about.
Yeah, water that he's never done it. It's not like he's like, oh, I remember this. Like, he's never been there. He just knows. He's like, yeah, this is the midnight depths for sure.
What another was like a little innate abilities that has 0 use for pretty much anything else, but it's so cool. In chapter 10, Gate Fragments, Twain is sitting there teasing Ekrib that reversed. Ekrib is teasing Twain that Twain is scared. And after their finding a piece of gated crossing, they realize that it is still linked to the Abyssal Hells. As they're trying to get out of the swamp that they're basically having to fight this thing in, Twain ends up jumping on Ekrib's tail. Whoa.
It's so cute.
And Twain's just like, look, I don't want to get wet. I don't like the water. I don't like being in the water. Even if I'm a water dragon, I don't care. Now, Ekrib kind of like throws him onto land and is like, look, I am not a horse, okay? You can do this on your own. Ashlynn makes a hasty bandage for him with some extra gauze that she brought along to cover up the scar, to cover up the injury he received. And they make their way back to the camp. They have the camp all set up pretty much, and Helmith comes out, and Gray hands over the piece of gated crossing that he wrapped up in some cloth to keep it away from touching himself. And Helmith kind of reassures Gray that everything will be okay. And Gray's like, but how are you being so calm about this? And she's like, oh, I'm not. This is terrifying, but I can just say it's going to be okay. Like, we're going to try it. Try for it, you.
Yeah, I appreciate the honesty.
Right. She's not treating him like a little kid, at least. Gray ends up reverse pickpocketing Ashlynn and giving Ashlynn the 3 pieces of ore that he had found. And I like this because you could tell that, again, this is another character building part between Ashlynn and Gray. And I also want to say, how did Gray learn how to pickpocket people?
If you asked Exy, he probably didn't even have pockets on his island, so...
Like, did he choose the thief stone, and that's how he's getting these bonuses for pickpocketing?
Secretly a rogue like Egha, yeah.
Now, they go over to Captain Leon to hand in their occult ore, and Ashlynn pulls out the 4 pieces, and she's just like, Gray, come on. Hands them over, and Captain Leon is like, oh, you're the standard that everyone will have to measure up to. I just want to say, like, that's a lot of pressure. Regardless of who you are, where you come from, I don't care if it was Gray that he was saying that to. That's a lot of pressure with all of these guys, like these kids, essentially. Just recently become adults. That, hey, you are the one that has to keep everything up. Better not get at the mayor. And, you know, we'll find out more about her family later on, so it'll definitely make sense later on as well. Now, Captain Leon did kind of say about how he's surprised that Gray didn't find any ore. So she found 4, but he didn't find any. Like he's kind of pulling the bullshit flag up, but kind of giving it to her for the time being. So, right. This ends with chapter 10, though, and in chapter 11, I believe we see the rest of the characters come back from collecting their ore as well, and we'll have to see who the winner of the little challenges and who will get the trinket, since whoever has the most ore is the one that gets it. As long as Leon actually made good on his promise.
He actually has it still.
Exactly. Or brought one of these. But with that ends this section of chapters, and in the next week, the week of the 26th, is Thanksgiving for those that are in the States. Definitely looking forward to eating some good turkey. But with that, though, we'll catch you all next week. Scott, did you have anything else you'd like to add? Happy holidays. See you guys next week.